number 1, Kelsey McNair. At third base, number 24, Jazz Morales. At first base, number 55, Kimura Tuipala. At shortstop, number 31, Izzy Lopez. At left field, number 5, Kayla Vargas. At center field, number 16, Jay Hernandez. At catcher, number 13, Maya Rodriguez.
Welcome to Cypress College Softball here on Sportsnet, USA.net, and Chargers Live. Well, I'm here with Ed Ford, Albert Robles, and my partner showed up today, Corey Nealon, because, Corey, this is going to be a really heck of a softball game. The number one team in the OEC in conference this year. They've only lost one, my friend. And, of course, then Brad Pickler, we sound like he's having a down year. 10-2. So he's right there to once again win the OEC. It ought to be a real exciting game between these two teams.
As you said, this is the battle for the OEC conference. As you mentioned, Orange Coast comes in on an 8-game winning streak. One of those games included a 7-0 victory over the second team in the state, Palomar, yet nothing changes at the top of the polls. And Cypress coming in after that loss we saw on Saturday to El Camino 7-3. It's a contrast of styles. You like the fact that Orange Coast can throw out 5 different quality pitchers in the circle, and Haley Tucker, as normal, leading the state in wins in the circle for Cypress.
Yeah, I do. Pedraza will start things off for the Pirates, playing right field. McNair will follow, playing the DP today in that game. And then Morales, the third base person for OCC, will be the first 3 up. Corey, I tell you what, this is a stacked lineup. They can go deep. I've had the pleasure of seeing it in play. Very impressive softball team run by a very impressive head coach at OCC.
Pedraza leads the team in on-base percentage at .438. 9 doubles this season. Once she gets on first base, she's another one of those players that you like to say, a walk is a double.
Tucker in the circle for your Chargers today. And Corey, we've seen Tucker in the last 2 games not as sharp as she has been in the past. I guess it's a long season, so your mental thoughts can waver as she gets back-to-back strikes.
As we mentioned, 22 wins to start off this season. Best in the state, 22-7 after Saturday.
Foul down the left field line.
94 strikeouts, 47 walks this season, and 170 innings pitched. Well, 178 innings pitched. I could have that wrong. I may have updated my notes. Her 32nd appearance and 29th start with a 2.33 earned run average.
But you know what you like? The 2-to-1 strikeout ratio. So 2 strikeouts for every walk. Lazy fly ball to center field. Back on it easily is Kyle, who was, well, Corey's already named her the Defensive Player of the Year here in the OEC.
That's correct.
Okay. I was going to let you, say it well, Mark.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, that's correct.
Okay. McNair will come up now. Designated player in today's game for OCC. Kelsey also a pitcher for the Pirates. Shows bunt taken for a strike. OCC in their orange uniforms, and Corey said he likes them. You got thrown by the pinstripe, though, on the jersey that doesn't go all the way down the pants like they do with Cypress.
Yeah, it throws me off a little bit, but again, orange and blue, 2 great colors, 2 great uniforms. As we said, Cypress always looking good in the pinstripes, whether they're white or the blues.
But you like the blues better?
Yes.
Jazzy Lopez goes back, turns 2 directions, but makes the catch. So defense is solid to start this game off here in the first inning. That's going to bring up Morales. Corey, we saw this young woman hit a ball through a strong wind at Orange Coast College. She hit another dinger in that game to basically win everything for the Pirates over at Golden West College.
Five home runs and 26 RBI.
Solid defensive player, too, for the Pirates. And we'll get to that defensive setup in just a second for Cypress.
Tina Payne behind the dish. Madeline Winya at first base. Jada Maldonado at second.
Right on the outside corner.
Michaela Modis at shortstop and Michaela Galaviz at third base. Right to left is Parmenter, Kyle, and Lopez in the outfield.
skied. Maldonado underneath it, and a quick 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Well, Brad Pickler's got a smile on his face, and if you're a Charger fan, so should you, as we head to the bottom of the first inning with your Cypress Chargers getting ready to come up to bat. Kyle will start things off, your center fielder, followed by Modis at short, and then Parmenter in right field. And Corey Nalen, you look at that first leadoff hitter. Kyle is close to being the record books. What, she's like 4th now in the record books for Cypress for stolen bases?
5th.
5th,
Fifth
okay.
in the record books.
Okay.
She's going to have to go on a spurt if she wants to get the record. I believe the record is 63 stolen bases for her career, but I'd have to double check that.
I was going to say 68, but I'm not sure either.
It could be 68.
Yeah. But 40's impressive, Corey. She doesn't get caught.
No, I think she's only been caught twice this year, and I think I may be giving her one more caught stealing than we have on the season. She's got, well, that was a few weeks ago. Never mind.
Hey, it's better than nothing, though, a few weeks ago.
No, on the season, she's got 29 stolen bases.
Unless it's a tuna fish sandwich that's been sitting in your car, then you might want to let that go. Kyle comes up. We'll get to the defense for Coast in just a second. And Corey, they know about this young woman. They are in on the corners. They're going to force her to drop the perfect bunt. Halfway at second and short.
And supporting Daniela Sanchez in the circle. She's got 67 innings pitched, 104 earned run average. Both lead the team. 32 strikeouts and 24 walks.
0-1 count. Kyle shows bunt, pulls back. Off the plate, 1-1.
And behind her in right field, Olivia Pedraza. In center, Reina Hernandez. In left is Kayla Vargas.
So 1-1 count to Kyle. Corners stay in. Still halfway at second and short for Coast. Going to force her to hit the softball. She slaps it down the left field line. Almost takes off a little piece of Brad Pickler.
Speaking down that left field and third base line, Jasmine Morales in third base, Isabel Lopez at short, Mackenzie Koshi at second base, and Kimura Tuipala at first. The battery mate for Sanchez is Maya Rodriguez.
1-2 is the count. Everybody backs up a half a step because of the pitch count. High, 2-2. Win by Cypress would be huge today. Two and two. Off the plate, 3-2.
So the Chargers come in averaging 5 runs a game, still under that 300 team batting average at 298. We're unaccustomed to seeing that.
3-2 count. High around the shoulders, and you know what? Your eyes light up like a big pumpkin, and she swings right through it. That'll bring up Modis with no one on.
Up to bat, number 24, Michaela Moses.
And Jody's solid in the circle. She's got 5 pitchers that can pitch for her, Corey.
Yeah, and that goes with the first 2 batters with Kyle striking out. She does that rarely. She and Modis are third in the conference in walks.
Down at the knees, first strike on the outside edge. Modis looks over at the umpire, sort of wonders. Once again, in at the corners for Coast. Tuipala over at first, in front of the bag. Little off the plate, but given in the strike zone for the umpire. 0-2's the count. Heard a couple parents behind said, that looked like a ball. 0-2 count.
And then she comes up with the rise pitch one more time to change that eye level. Sanchez, smart pitcher in the circle. And we were looking for Modis to have a breakout, standout, great year. She's had a good year. But if Cypress wants to continue when they get to the playoffs, 301 is a good player. She needs to be very good for them to move on.
0-2 count. Off the plate, framed well, Corey, and I guess that's one of the things that everybody forgets about. If you've got a catcher that can frame a pitch, you're going to steal one or two during the game.
Yeah, Maya Rodriguez is one of my favorite players out there because she's got style. She's got the glasses behind the face mask, got that energy.
High around the shoulders. So we're 2-2. And of course, you like Sanchez because she pitches the way Corey thinks they all should pitch. Up, down, in, out, speed, slow it down. Off the plate, couldn't get that call. 3-2. And of course, Rodriguez turns around and asks the umpire, where was it? He said it was off the plate. Three-two count. Modis takes it back up the middle for a base hit.
Outstanding piece of hitting, being patient, running the count full at 3-2 as she got down in the count. And Modis, that's what she needs to do for the rest of the season. She needs to have like a 5-game hitting streak going into the playoffs and be that person.
Carly Parmenter now comes up. And again, in at first, in at short. I'm in at third. Parmenter bunts through that.
8th in on-base percentage. And she's been playing well, 465 on-base percentage, 505 slugging, 366. She's come around the second half of the season.
0-1 count. Off the plate, no throw. So it's interesting to watch the infield for Orange Coast College. Jody said she watches our games when we do it. You sort of wonder if she took the Ed Ford rule and said, don't be playing close, especially in left, because Corey, if you look at it, one of the few visiting teams that's not on top of the infielders. Batted. No tag. Missed tag at first. Here comes stop, throw, and they go back. So the umpire said, now runner goes down to second. So a missed tag coming down the line is what the umpire called. Then the throw, and Corey, the throw is in behind the runner, which allows Parmenter to come up. I'm going to look at you and say, what do you give it? I know the scorekeeper gave it a hit.
I want to give it a hit,
But it's
but
not,
because not. But it's not. It's an error. It's an E3 on the throw.
Up to bat, number 6.
And then everybody advances because the throw. Because Modis gets all the way to third because of the bad throw.
Yeah, on those plays you want to give a hit, but there's got to be a better throw from Tuipala. And Orange Coast at 26-4. The best fielding percentage in conference at 967, one of the best in the state.
In again. Down and away. So Brad shows bunt. Galaviz comes up there. Get everybody in motion. And this is what I like about offering a bunt. That means everybody comes in motion. They come down from first. They come down from third. Second wheels towards first. Hit. Look, they've got to give up the run. And because you offer the bunt, Corey, infielders come in, could have gone home, but you'll take the sure out.
Yeah, and it's interesting that at second base, Koshi thought about going home, and I don't think she realized Modis was going to go. And so she goes over to first base before realizing Modis was on her way. Modis, great job of base running, playing the second base person.
And Brad, you know, it's the old thing. When the ball gets hit, you're going. Don't hesitate. And give it to Brad Pickler over at third base in the coaching's box, because that's what he tells his runner to do. Ball's hit, you got to go home. Puts pressure on that defensive player. Take the easy out, don't throw it away, and open up the big hole for Cypress. Off the turf, they call the line drive out for Maldonado. But not before Cypress gets on the board. One run on one hit, one error, and one left on base.
I saw 2 hits up there, but I'm trying to look. One hit?
One hit.
E, fielder's choice. Yeah, one hit.
One hit, yeah. That's why I looked up there and said to you, one hit. See if you had the same thing I had. As Cypress comes away with a quick lead, and Corey, once again, as we look for the OEC, and I know Ed's down there too, it's starting to come at the end of the season. Jody's done a miraculous job over at Orange Coast College. We know they've played well in the past. They've gotten better every year, but haven't been able to finish. This season, they look like the real deal.
And again, they've been growing their team. 8 wins, 14 wins, as we said, 16 wins. We were talking to her, 20 wins, and now you're first in conference. Should be second in state, but again, third or fourth in the state right now. You'll take that for OCC, but she's built this program to a level at this time to what she said she was going to do when she came back from UCLA.
Tui Paula will start things off playing first base for the Pirates, followed by Lopez at short and Vargas in left field. Those are the 3 that'll come to you in this top half of the second. Cypress up by 1 early on a gift.
But Corey, they are number 1 in RPI in the state.
Oh, and see, 1 in RPI in the state. You should at least be second ranking-wise since you beat Palomar that last time out.
Well, the rankings are perhaps more flawed than RPI is.
You know, hard to imagine, but you're right.
Tucker on the edge. Maldonado ranges out there, and nice range by Maldonado behind second base. Doesn't bring Kyle running in to try and catch it. Good defense for your Chargers.
And she's going to be another key hitter, offensively speaking, for Cypress as they move towards the playoffs. Last game against El Camino, she came out of that shell a little bit. Couple hard hits plus that line drive there.
Lopez, the shortstop for OCC, comes up now. Cypress gets 1 in the first. Galaviz inside the bag at third base. Popped up. Galaviz says, I've got it. Takes it right at third base. 2 pop-ups, 2 outs.
Mark Lopez was swinging for 207.
Brings up Vargas, the left fielder for the Pirates of Orange Coast. All in orange. I know where Corey Nalen, he'd probably change their mascot name to the orange, the tangerine.
No.
And back here, just foul. California Sunshine Rose.
Giselle's dad almost came up with one.
Pulled down the left field line, foul. 0-2's the count.
And you're going to have to be careful with her because Lopez is one of those players that can go deep. Tied on the team in home runs with 21 RBIs.
Well, at Orange Coast, it's 200, 200, 200. Here at Cypress, it's 207, 220, and 209 from left to right. Fouled back this direction one more time. Stays 0-2. Nice little Tuesday afternoon. Started off overcast. It's getting a little warmer now.
Nice pitch by Tucker. You got an aggressive batter out there, free swinging. And let's see if we can get her to chase a little bit. She does not.
0-2. Everybody goes back deep behind the bags. Flared off foul. Lopez in left, cheating towards the line. Kyle in center, just a little left center, and Parmenter straight away in right. So, Corey, there's a gap out there in right center field. Off the plate.
And do you dare bring in an off-speed pitch on the inside part of the plate, try to fool her?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
Okay. No, she's pretty much got a rhythm, so you might not want to take that chance.
Brings it inside, Lopez. Jazzy goes back, gets underneath it for out, number 3. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to the bottom of the second, it's Cypress 1, Orange Coast College 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, I know, and I'm going to throw Ed in here. I know, Ed, when we've looked at Orange Coast, and I brought it up to Corey, we've looked over. They've had good seasons, but there's been that little bit of falter. But this year, when you look at Orange Coast, it just looks like they're solid from top to bottom, and Jody's got them playing the way that you want to win in the OEC.
Yeah, I think, though, that we've lost sight of how well they played last year. It's not like, obviously, they've made a huge improvement, but last year, Orange Coast was a solid playoff team. They were a top 8 playoff team in the seeding. They were seeded number 7, and they faced Cypress in the Super Regional. That means they were pretty good. It's not like last year they were a play-in team. They were a good, solid team last year. Yes, they've gotten better, but sometimes I think we think that they weren't as good as they were last year. They might have faded a tiny bit last year, but they didn't fade enough where they didn't stand the top 8 seeds.
Well, we'll see what happens here today after this game, where everybody may take a look at both these teams. Payne will start things off, catching for Cypress. And I like Tina Payne. Corey, you talked about earlier the catcher for Orange Coast. I like Tina as a catcher for Cypress College.
Yeah, she's solid. Different from last year, but just as good defensively.
Down the middle.
And she's not called upon to be one of the more dynamic hitters on the squad. She's hitting .221, But in crunch time, she's proven in the last couple weeks that she can come through for the Chargers.
Daniela Sanchez in the circle for Coast. A little speed. Rised right at the numbers. I don't know. I thought it took a couple threads with it.
No, that's a strike right there. That's one of those where you're trying to swing out your armpits.
2-1's the count. Two and two. You know what I love? The parents behind us. They thought that was a ball on the pitch before, and then this one's off the plate, and they go, oh, ump. 2-2's the count. Hey, you even it out during the game. Winds picking up. Back to the circle for out number one. Corey, that's one thing that I think gets overlooked. You can look at ERA, you can look at strikeouts, but if you can't field your position in the circle, I don't care how good you are a weakness for what goes on in the infield. I'll bring up a little controversy here, Sam.
No controversy. If you can field your position, you can field for your position. I think it's a plus, not a weakness, if you can field your position.
Okay. Winya coming up. First base person for Cypress. And, of course, I have a little disagreement. I think everybody should be able to field everything if you're playing in a defensive position.
That is true.
And not be adequate. You need to be above adequate. Fouled away.
Yeah, we'll disagree on that one.
Well, I know. You know,
you have to be adequate. Yes, you have to be able to.
You have to be better than adequate. I know we disagreed on ERA, but once again, people found out that my position was right, and that's okay.
With your question that you asked and phrased.
So, Johnny Cochran phrased his own questions, got the answer. Everybody thought he was right, too. So, you know, some of us know how to phrase our questions.
That's an off-the-air discussion.
1-2 count. Off the plate. A little too much over the top on that one.
Sanchez out of Mission Viejo High School. 5'8". Good product. Good school.
Offered. Strike three on a half swing.
And again, last 5 pitches, same motion, same delivery, off the plate, inside, high, but you're seeing the same speed. And all of a sudden she throws that changeup, and it just freezes you.
So Sanchez in 2 innings has 2 strikeouts. Hill comes up. Designated player. Hill, your typical slap hitter. Little slight build. Will take the crossover step to try and slap the ball when she's getting that first step to first base. Lefty.
And is she a type of player that Brad has inserted into the offense to try to be a rejuvenation or generate some type of offensive productivity?
Yeah, he really is. He's searching for something to pick up the bottom part of the order. And Brad would like consistency. Corey, you don't have to be a 290 hitter, but if you're consistently 250, I know every 4th time you're probably going to get a hit, and you may walk once, is what Brad's looking for.
And that's where it goes to the pitcher in the circle. You just want consistently. You don't have to be above average.
Foul. You didn't tell me how much you were. Outfield in for OCC. Vargas close to the left field line. Pedraza playing straight away in center. I mean in right. Strike 3 call. So Sanchez says, you know what? I don't need to play defense when I can strike out people. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We head for the top of the third. It's Cypress 1, OCC 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net, and Chargers Live. And of course, we'll look at some of the other teams around conferences who are playing today. Golden West College, like Ed said the other day when we were on the air, Corey, they need, and you brought it up, Ed, they need to win as the rest of the season goes on, or they've got no chance of getting into the playoffs.
Yes, Golden West basically, we have some very important games. Obviously, this matchup between Orange Coast and Cypress is going to decide, unless they falter after this one, will decide who wins the OEC championship. Golden West needs to sweep Fullerton today. They need to sweep the series this week against Fullerton. That's really the chance part of the chance they have, and then they'd also have to come in and beat Cypress also. Fullerton has to win all the rest of their games, and if they don't, they're going to finish under 500, but there's no real pressure on the Hornets because they know they're already in the playoffs.
Hernandez comes up playing center field.
That's why if there was a requirement that you had to play at least 500 ball, the Hornets would have to play a lot harder. And I think they would. Not saying they'd make it, but they would play harder. Right now, they can cruise. It doesn't matter.
Hernandez takes that off the plate. 1 run, 2 hits. We have it as 1 hit and 1 error for Orange Coast College, who has no runs, no hits.
And that's not to say that Crystal and Speedy are those kind of coaches, but the players, hey, if you know you can take it easy, you might take it easy.
Pulled. Maldonado has it go off the edge of her glove. That's a base hit.
That is a hit. Because Maldonado was moving towards second as the ball was hit. She couldn't get back over to that 3-hole, and it just goes under her glove. And that's a good hit for Hernandez.
Yeah, didn't try to do too much with it. So now let's see what Jody does. When you in at first. Eloise in front of the bag, fouled away.
And you might see 3 straight bunt attempts from Maya Rodriguez. She's only hitting 137 on the season.
And this again is where, and I brought it up with Brad the other day, guys, I just don't think enough run and hit is used in the game of softball.
And that's one of the things that's changed. We were talking to Jody earlier.
Off the plate.
And she was talking to Ben. You brought up the fact that she has 5 pitchers and multiple pitchers being used to prolong their arms, not like the old days where you pitch till it falls off. And now batting's the same way.
Down low. And of course, you see Tucker thinking somebody may bunt. Corey's trying to make it where you have to go down low to try and bunt the ball in the ground where you might pop it up.
Mm-hmm. And when you have 2 coaches that use all facets of the game.
Nice sacrifice. Infield on top of her, Corey. All she did was catch the ball with the bat, let it go down the third baseline, and moves the runner to second.
Up to bat, number 3, Matt Koshi.
So a nice sacrifice by Rodriguez. Koshi comes up, playing second base. for the Pirates. Tying run at second with 1 out. Again, infield in. And here's what gets very difficult. Again, you've got a wheel play going on. Modus has got to cover third if there's an attempted steal. You got to find the bag, find the ball, and put your foot down at the same time. Difficult play for her at shortstop.
Good pitch by Tucker. An outstanding pitch by Tucker, because when you see Winya coming through, she's staying on that outside part of the plate. It's very hard to bunt that ball to the third base side on an outside pitch. Most likely you want to just push that forward.
A little low. 2-1 the count. Jody's over in the first base coaching box, giving signals. Pop foul. A champion at UCLA. Went to Pacifica High School and played for Rob Weil, who was the softball coach. So now Rob is over at Los Alamitos. And then played for Mike Stith in travel ball.
She was one of those players that...
Off. Oh, strike 3
Oh,
call.
heck
Boy,
yeah.
what a delayed call.
You didn't hear the yah?
I did from behind me.
Oh, okay. But Jody, what'd she do? Four years at UCLA?
Yep.
4-time all-conference? That's not too bad.
Yeah. Tucker keeps it down low.
But when you go back to the batting and the changes in styles, it's good to see both these coaches, one legend, one becoming legendary, that use every aspect of the way to play softball. They're not just focused on
High fastball right across the letter. Pretty pitch.
and not just focused on hitting the long ball.
Tucker looks over at Brad in the dugout. Up 1-0. High pitch, doesn't get the call. Well, I think what you like too, Corey, is when you talk to Jody, you can see there's a transition in softball. Yeah, the traditional stuff stays there, but we have to change some things for a strike. So she keeps growing the game of softball, not the program, but the game. And when she talks about her pitchers and not burning them out on the community college level. Taken back up the middle. Kyle picks it up, cut off in the circle as Winya comes over and puts herself in the perfect position for a cutoff person. Has the ball thrown directly to her, which holds the runners at the corner at first and third.
See, that's not what held the runner. What held the runner was Nenea Kyle measuring her steps, waiting for that to bounce and ready to gun somebody out at home plate. That was happening.
Timeout. As Brad walks out with 2 down.
While we have a chance, gentlemen, let's check out the scoreboard. As we said, some important OEC games. Of course, now my mouse won't work, but hey, those things happen. Oh my God. Orange Coast in Cypress. We also have Saddleback is playing Santa Ana. Santa Ana not having a very good season. Saddleback really needs to take all 3 of those games. That gives them a chance to creep up and maybe come in 3rd place in the OEC. We mentioned Golden West against Fullerton. Fullerton has to win all the remaining games, 3 against Golden West, 1 against LA Mission, then 3 against, I'm not sure who they play to finish off the season. It isn't Golden West, obviously. Oh, they finish up with Saddleback. They'd have to win all 7 of those games to finish at 500 overall. And then we mentioned Saddleback playing Santa Ana. So it's still sort of a race. It's going to be 1st or 2nd between the 2 teams we have here. The other teams are kind of fighting for 3rd place. Yeah, Mendocino 5 and Kalinga nothing. Not going to be a sweep.
McNair now coming up with runners at first and third. 2 down. Ooh. McNair couldn't be a Gumby quick enough. Tried to, and bases are loaded.
We got one of their most dangerous hitters in Jasmine Morales. Morales, 5 home runs, 26 RBI, 337, might be their most dangerous, probably is, from the right-hand side of the box. And we mentioned the multiple pitchers. Haley Tucker is one of those pitchers this year that's been able to go old school and carry that load, is winning, has a number one in wins in the state.
At the knees for a strike. We saw Emily Rush do that, win a state championship.
Kaylin Reynolds last year, who broke records, not just Cypress, but state records.
Swung through and missed. Oh, Morales was going to give that a ride.
I mean, it was an outstanding pitch. It was, I don't know what that was. It was beautiful.
0-2's the count. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Off the plate, waste pitch.
And here's where you don't have to come right at her. You can work that outside part of the plate some more.
1-2's the count. Foul down the right field line.
And now you're going to have to change it up because, as you mentioned, you three saw her hit a bomb, and that wasn't wind aided either. It was going against the wind, right?
Yep. It's going against the wind. She's got a very level swing, Corey, so that's what really works for her. Off the plate. And if you watch her too, because somebody who enjoys the game, she won't try to pull the ball. So if this gets hung out on the outside the plate, Parmenter needs to get ready. Because she'll take it to right. 2-2 count. Easy fly ball. And Kyle says, Corey Nalen, this is how you catch them, with 2 hands. So no runs, a couple hits, no errors, and the bases left loaded. As we head to bottom of 3, well, it's a nail biter. It's Cypress 1, OCC 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net, and Chargers Live. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Nalen, and the old guy. Happy to bring you this game today, as we'll keep you informed and let you know what's going around the OEC. It's getting ready for playoff time.
So you mentioned those scores. That was Saddleback up over Santa Ana.
That's 3-1 in the 3rd inning. Game at Saddleback. Riverside is playing today, and they are not playing a conference game. They're playing against Mount San Jacinto, a team that has really started to slide downwards. They are just barely going to make it in, mostly because they'll finish in first place and they'll win the Inland Empire. But for a while there, Victor Valley was even threatening, so it should be Mount San Jacinto, then Chaffee in the, we won't worry about that score. It is an important score, though. Sequoias and Taft trying to struggle and get into the playoffs. They've got a good team this year. They're down to Sequoias 1-0, and Sequoias, I think, is a little underrated, excuse me. Bottom of the 1st inning, Fullerton Golden West, no score. And that's what's happening in the OEC.
Jazzy Lopez, left fielder, will start it off for your Chargers.
And the kicking game for Palomar isn't going too well today. They're up by a score of 20-0. They're just missing an extra point here or there.
for a ball.
Well, that certainly gives Lacey a chance to play all her players, and they can all get in some innings or at bats because they're just stomping on people.
2-0's the count. On the edge for a strike, 2-1.
Mark and Ed, I wanted to ask you a question. Because of the conference they play in and because they are the top teams, the top team, and that competition may not be the best, it's not like the OEC, can that hurt them once they get to crunch time in the state playoffs?
No. They'll make it to the state playoffs. They just get beat by the better team. And in 2023, it was Cypress and Brad Pickler. In other years, it was Mount Sac, besting them. But they'll be there.
2-2. Strike 3 call.
Because if you look at their non-conference schedule, they play everybody. They play Cypress, they play Mount Sac, they play Orange Coast. Once in a while they'll play, if they go up to Bakersfield in that thing where San Mateo will come down. So they have plenty of competition to go up against. But yeah, the Pacific Coast is not the strongest conference.
Kyle comes up, tailing away in center field, to the wall. Kyle turning, she's on her bicycle. Here comes the slide. She's in there at third with a triple.
And Kyle was the bright spot. As you see the smooth swing, no hesitation, no attempt to bunch. He just said, you know what? I'm going left center. I'm going shopping at the gap, and I'm hitting 3. We're going to try to get another run scored. On Saturday, she was the bright spot. 3 for 4, stolen base, and 2 runs in the loss to El Camino.
Well, the ball was tailing away. Also, when you look at it, Hernandez had no chance, Corey, because it's tailing away from her. Defensive players got to track that down. And as luckily, she held her to a triple.
I think the fence held her to a triple, Mark.
Well, if there's no fence, you'd get at least a single.
I don't really think it went all the way to the fence. It seemed to slow down prior to the fence. I think there's some higher grass or softer grass out there that slowed the ball down. Kind of like Corey Nealon hitting a shot right on the green by the stick.
Excuse me?
I was going to say, when did that happen?
Pitch and play.
I'll take it.
1-1's the count. Big second run over at third base. Just off the plate. 2-1. Batters count with a 2-1 count. This is one of those places that you can drop the bunt. In at first for Coast. Just a couple steps above third. Right field, this will be enough. Keeps going back. Tag up. With the speed, this is an easy sacrifice fly. So Modis does what she has to do, get the ball in the air, hits it to Pedraza, and deep enough to get run number 2.
So with 2 outs, we'll bring up Parmenter. And Cypress doing what they do, manufacturing those runs and getting ready for the playoffs. Finding some type of rhythm and some type of way to move past.
Parmenter on with an error her first time up.
Still up there as a hit. And I think they're calling that a hit. And then they hit in the back and error, advancing the runner to third.
Off the plate.
Quick look at the scoreboard. Fullerton, Golden West, game at Golden West. Fullerton trails 1-0. That's in the bottom of the first inning. And Santa Ana has tied Saddleback in the third, 3 apiece.
Golden West with the 3 top hitters in the OEC. All batting well above 400.
As a team, Golden West leads the conference in hitting anyway with 359 as a team.
One of the better fielding teams, too, is Golden West College.
3rd in the conference.
3-0 count. A late call for a strike.
And guys, definitely, yes, some people may say that Golden West had an easy schedule, but they've beaten teams here in the OEC. They're not a pushover, and people need to take them seriously.
Yeah, they're 7-5 going into that series with Fullerton. And so if you go over 500 in the OEC, you're a playoff team.
If you're under 500, you're a playoff team. Oh, well, only one qualifies for that.
3-2's the count. Taken easily at short. Quick flip there. Nice little play by Lopez as Isabella ends the inning, but not before Cypress gets on the board one more time. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and 1 left on base. As we head to the top of the 4th, well, it's been all Cypress College in a quiet way. It's Cypress 2. Orange Coast 0 here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
And speaking of up north, again, another player of the week from the NorCal Conference, Danny Ferris out of Yuba. She was 11 of 17, 2 home runs, 7 RBI last week. Also, pitcher of the week in the state. She was 5-0, 46 strikeouts, an 0.90 earned run average that week. The second time she was pitcher of the week this season. And again, you'll see more and more NorCal players be that player of the week in the state. She was co-pitcher of the week this week with Haley Harris out of Long Beach, who was 3-0, had 33 strikeouts of her own and 2 shutouts.
Yeah, because of our conversation, I started looking, and it's heavily Northern California. And like Corey said, we should have one for the North and players for the South.
Because then you got to start looking at their conferences and their standings and the records and the competition.
So Orange Coast looking to get on the board. Everybody's backing up, Corey.
3 home runs Tuipala has hit this season. Shade under 300 at 295.
Our mentor deep in right. Kyle straight away, mid-range. A little high for a ball. 2-1.
Orange Coast, of course, in first place with a 14-1 record. Cypress in second. They've only played 12 games compared to OCC's 15, 10-2. Golden West is in third place at 7-5.
The inside part of the plate, down by the knees, sweet pitch by Tucker.
Saddleback is 4-7 in the conference, but in RPI, Saddleback is number 5.
A lot of right hand, Corey. Got that ball to drop quickly on a downward spin for a base hit.
That follow through, it looked like she came over the top with the wrist. Made sure she was going to bring that down and not hit it in the air. Piece of hitting by Tuipala out of Segerstrom High School. A lot of freshmen on this team. A lot of freshmen playing well for the Pirates.
So now a designated runner, Josie Zamora, over at first base.
Up to bat, number 31, Izzy Lopez.
Lopez comes up, shortstop for this Orange Coast team. Winya comes down from first. Galaviz from third. Swinging away, Corey. A little surprised, no attempt on the first swing.
Nah, she's hit 5 home runs this season. She's one of those players that can hit the ball well, hitting over 300. This is more of a run and hit type of situation.
Runner goes. Not close. Kyle backs up the play. And you've mentioned this a couple times. You did it last game too. Talking about Payne's throw from behind the plate. Every once in a while she doesn't get out of her crouch and throws before coming up and striding towards second base. And it's a wild throw. Stolen base.
Albert just mentioned has been wide right with all those throws with that no follow through, as you mentioned.
Strike on the inside part of the plate. Boy, Tucker every once in a while has found that pitch when she has needed it. 2-2 count. Runner at second, no outs. Corey drop a bunt right now. Down left field, foul. And if that's straight, a run is in.
That's straight, that's an out. I had faith in Jazzy. She got the jazz, we got the jazz. Competition, they must come sideways. No?
You got to put them sunglasses on. Help you see. Take it over to Galaviz. Gets the runner. They call her out at first. Orange Coast thought there was a pull at the bag, but they're going to give her the out, but the runner advances to third.
I thought she kept her foot there. She was pulled.
I don't know if we have that on replay or not.
Yeah,
No, we don't.
Okay.
Just going to have to believe the umpire this time.
Up to bat, number 5, Kayla Vargas.
I saw it on my angle. She was out.
So Vargas comes up.
Albert says she was out.
Hits it in the gap. Vargas drops and turns for second with an RBI double. Couldn't have placed that ball any prettier in the outfield.
No. And outfield wasn't deep, or excuse me, wasn't shallow. They were pretty deep. They were playing straight away. It's just a good piece of hitting. Again, you saw her jump on that first pitch because Tucker's been leading outside with that first pitch in the first few innings.
Hernandez comes up. Takes it for a ball.
Is hitting 290.
Offers a, excuse me, bunt attempt. Takes that first strike.
For Vargas hitting as well as she does and in that stroke, that's only her second double this season.
It's a little low and outside. 2-1's the count. So 2-1 here in the top of the fourth. High. Three and one's the count. Look at Modus at short, cheating towards the bag at third. Winya walks up at first. Nice down and away strike for Tucker.
You know when you're good in the circle is when you know you have to throw a strike, but you can't throw that good-looking strike.
Pulled into right field. Parmenter comes up. Cutoff person lets it go through to hold the runner at third base. So today, fundamentally sound with their cutoff people, something that was not in the last game.
Up to bat, number 13, Maya Rodriguez.
So what do you do here with the 137 hitter?
You know what? I start my runner at first, and if it's close, I tell her to swing. Depending on where the ball's hit, you send that tying run from third base. You force the defense to make a decision. Do we try and turn two? Can we turn two? Is it possible to get it? Even if you hit it to Maldonado or if you hit it to Modis, do you take that chance? You're sending the runner.
I'm not taking that chance and sending the runner.
Okay. I do. I take that chance to send the runner.
I think with the 2-1 lead and the way you've been hitting and finding Tucker's rhythm in this inning specifically, yeah, you even with 2 outs, you're thinking you can get that base hit. You can get that run across.
See, and I like making the defense move.
Well, you're going to start the runner no matter what.
Okay.
You got to start the runner at first. You can't hit into a double play if that's going to be a possibility. So you have to start that runner.
And I think automatically infielders will glance to see if they can turn two. That allows the runner from third base to get the step. You've got to say to yourself defensively, if the ball's hit to me, I'm going home.
But with 1 out, you're instinctively thinking, you're looking back the runner at third and going to first. You're not thinking double play.
So you have no problem putting the go-ahead run on second base?
Not a problem at all.
Oh, I do. I have a problem with that. Managerial decisions. Runner goes. Pitch in the dirt. Well, we were both right on that one.
303 as a team, they hit. Slugging is 468. They have 24 home runs this season. So they do it a variety of ways.
Down low. Brad Pickler's going to bring the defense in halfway. So Gallaby's inside the bag at third. Wynja inside the bag at first. Modis halfway. Hit to Maldonado. She's got to go back to get the runner at first base. Game is tied.
And what that is that situational hitting, knowing what you have to do. That is a sacrifice bunt. If you're looking at that situation, she knows she wants to go to the right side. She knows she has to pound it into the ground, and that's exactly what she's done or did to bring that runner in from third base to tie the ball game up.
Drops the bunt. Have to make the play over at first. They get him as they try to get a squeeze on the last one, but it just doesn't work out. But with a few hits, a couple runs come in, we're all tied at 2. It's Orange Coast 2, Cypress 2, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Cypress feeling good now. Corey Nalen, they're in a dogfight, and the race is on.
Some other races going on today that could decide the playoffs. We told you about Golden West up on Fullerton by a score of 1-0. We also have a score from, we already gave you the Palomar score, but an important game between Ventura and Moore Park. Moore Park needs to win. They don't have quite enough RPI points, so a victory today against Ventura not only would help their RPI, but also they would move into second place, and that would give them a spot in the playoffs. So that also fights off Cuesta. So right now, bottom of the second inning, Moore Park 1, Ventura nothing. Oxnard playing Allen Hancock, and it's probably all over for those two teams. Bakersfield and Antelope Valley, another game where Bakersfield needs to win to get that second place spot so they get in, but their RPI is high enough anyway. But they are trailing Antelope Valley by a score of 3-1. And Cuesta and Santa Barbara all tied up at the bottom of the second inning.
So tied at 2. Galabees will start things off. If Cypress wins, they are tied in the loss column with Coast. And with any game you play, realize you can never make up losses. So it's one of the more important times. They've got more wins, that's okay. I can always win games, but if they've got less losses, I can't just erase one of mine. I want to thank Jody for attempting that bunt.
Well, the schedule should even out. Because everybody's going to play the same amount of games in the conference.
Down the middle.
Rodriguez still behind the plate.
Kind of like over in the SCC, Long Beach has played more games than anybody else.
On the edge, pretty pitch.
Conference games, that would be. But by the end of the season, everybody in that conference also will have played the same amount of games.
3-2. Off speed. Nice little off speed pitch. Picked up by Morales. Over to first for the out.
Morales is still in there at third base. No changes
To bat, number
in the
10.
infield. Morales at third, Lopez at short, Koshi at second, and Tuipala. She's at first base and makes the putout. In the outfield, still Vargas in left, Reina Hernandez in center, and Olivia Pedraza in right field. So Maldonado, who lined to the shortstop at her first at bat.
Yep. And Corey, you talked about certain hitters that have to find their groove. I mean, it's playoff time. You're really a week away from playoffs to start.
And we really think this is one of them that is finding it.
Outside.
She had a walk and a hit on Saturday.
2 knows the count.
But her outs in the last 3 at bat, her last 3 outs have been hard hits.
Way off the play. 3-0. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Orange Coast. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for your Cypress Chargers. 3-0 count. Taken for a strike.
Talking about the importance of some of the games like Saturday's game, you think if Orange Coast gets through this, they win, they won't have the unfortunate luck as they did last year and draw Cypress in the Super Regionals. They would be in separate Super Regionals.
Nubbed off the end of the bat. Easy little play over there at second base for Koshi, who just flips it underhand for the out.
And I don't know if that was a curveball or a screwball, but again, it was an excellent pitch because it trailed away from the right-handed batter on the outside part of the plate. Maldonado stepped confidently. She knew she had a hit up the middle, and the ball kept trailing and trailing and trailing. And like you said, it's a number.
Payne comes up. Back to the circle her first time up. Takes that low. Wind blowing from right to left, but as it crosses center, it's actually a direct line into home. Outside for a ball.
And unless things change drastically, Orange Coast would be the #1 seed. They would get the lowest play-in team. Palomar would get the second lowest play-in team. And it would look like Cypress would play Canyons again. Unless Canyons loses a bunch of games here at the end of the season. And they're not quality losses.
So we're going to have a little conversation in the circle. Brad says, well, if we're going to take a little time out here in the bottom half of the fourth, we might as well have a conversation down the third baseline. So Tina just takes a little stroll to Brad Pickler.
So quality for Canyons. Let's see who they have left. Well, yep, they're going to have a couple quality losses.
I believe their last game is against Bakersfield, correct?
Yes, but they got 2 against Palomar.
Okay.
There you go. That's getting them in.
Yeah. I mean, they get killed in those games, and their RPI probably goes up.
And then 1 against LA Valley.
Taking the customary 3-0 count. Keeping the bat on the shoulder. 3-1. Three-one count. Well, I'll make you throw another one. 3-2 count. Three and two. Hit. Nice little pickup by Yoshi and Corey. An easy flip and an easy ending for Orange Coast College. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We have played 4. We're tied at 2. It's Cypress 2, Orange Coast College 2 here on Sportsnet, USA.net, and Chargers Live.
Yeah, we were talking about Canyons. They're currently in 4th place, 5-4 record. Behind Citrus is in 1st place in the Western State South, Bakersfield 2nd, and Antelope Valley. And one thing, if you look at, Bakersfield overall record is 19-17, and they've done this before, 8-2 in conference. Their out of conference record is below 500. And they did that a few years ago where I think they went 8-20 or something like that outside of conference. They play well in their conference, but they don't play that well outside the conference. But I think their higher RPI comes from they play a lot of quality teams. They play San Mateo, they'll play Palomar. They lose to all those teams. You get the quality loss factor.
This year they played West Valley, they played Fresno City. So out of conference, they're going to lose. But again, they played Sequoias and lost. They played Sequoias and lost twice. In West Valley, they lost once. They lose to Fullerton.
They played Cerritos, and Cerritos beat them a week ago or so. It's just, I think the conferences need to be a little bit realigned. Send Bakersfield to the Central. In Northern California, makes a little more sense. Got that rivalry against all those teams that are on the 99.
Mark, you'll like it because they lost to Orange Coast and lost to Cypress. Their losses to all these teams have given them a strong RPI.
Pedraza started off for Orange Coast here in the top of the fifth. Tied at 2. That's right, you're seeing a playoff game already here on Sportsnet. Popped up, Galaviz settles underneath it for out number 1.
Oh, definitely, Mark. The last 2 Cypress games, let's face it, in the state championship, we could see Cypress, we could see OCC, and we could see El Camino.
Oh, yeah. I liked El Camino. I thought they were a solid team. McNair comes up. Hit by a pitcher last time up.
And many times it's been Mount Sac in the way of El Camino getting into the state championship tournament. That's not going to happen this year. Mount Sac's going to have a tough time.
Yes, Sac having a down season. Of course, we heard the recruiting was a little down. Head coach left. So you're reestablishing yourself as a program with a new head coach. And one thing I wanted to ask you, because you've said it before, in some conferences, second place teams automatically make that. Is that a conference decision?
I don't think it is anymore.
Okay. Hit up the alley, all the way to the fence. Parmenter gets it. They turn. Bad throw. Throw to third, not in time. McNair with a solid triple.
First triple of the year for Kelsey McNair. And you see the replay, the way she turned. Again, the way she turned on that, there's nothing better in softball and baseball than a left-handed swing.
And the throw was a little high to the cutoff person who couldn't grab it and make a turn to throw the third.
Wasn't gonna matter, Mark. That's a triple all the way. Wasn't gonna matter. Not gonna matter. And this is the difference between the Orange Coast team that we've seen. Like I said, last year, very good team. But this year, they're more dynamic and they're more confident with each swing.
Infield in. Taken up the middle, base hit.
Up to bat, number 55, Kimura Tuipala.
So a couple hits for Orange Coast after they start the inning off by popping out. Corey, these are solid hits. When do you think of it?
I mean, yeah.
Tuipala comes up now.
And what's interesting about them is they're good pitches that Tucker's delivering. They're not right down the heart of the plate, at least the 2 hits that we just saw. The one to McNair was on the inside. It wasn't a strike, but it was still inside. And the way she turned her hips and opened her stance.
A knuckler by Tuipala for a base hit. And you know you got things going right when you get jammed and it just finds its way to the outfield.
Yeah, you know how hitting can be contagious? It's contagious right now with those 3 straight hits.
Number 31, Izzy Lopez.
And it was one pitch to McNair, 2 pitches to Morales, 1 pitch to Tuipala.
Down the third baseline. And a run comes in. 4 consecutive base hits for the Pirates of Orange Coast.
And they're not allowing Tucker to get into a rhythm and battle back. They're jumping on that first pitch, whether it's in the zone or not. They're making sure they're going to swing and make connections. Just like that, it is 4-2, and there's still only one out.
4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. So a lot of conversation in the circle. Brad didn't come out to visit the young women. But right now, Orange Coast trying to open up a gap. Up 4-2 over your Chargers of Cypress.
Up to bat, number 5, Caleb Vargas.
Vargas had a doubler last time up with a big RBI. Down low for a ball. Winnie at first, Maldonado at second. Galaviz at third, Modis at short. Payne, the battery mate to Tucker. Hit. Kyle goes back on it, makes the catch on a nice retreating defensive play by the center fielder.
Up to bat, number 16, Jay Hernandez.
For out number 2. 2 down. Lopez in foul territory makes the catch for out number 3, but not before a couple runs come in. 2 runs on 4 hits, no error, and a couple left on base. As we head to bottom of 5, well, the orange showed off its color. And now we'll see if the pinstripes of white and blue from Cypress can answer here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
And what makes them a championship quality team, Orange Coast, is what's made Cypress a championship program for all those years. They've had that spurt ability, that options to get quick or get hot quickly and make things happen. It just happens like a basketball run. Let me hit 4 straight threes and go up by 9. Let me get 4 straight base hits. I'll go up by 2 and seemingly take control.
Well, the softball team understands it. Maybe the basketball team for the women didn't against Mount Sac.
They had another great season under Sammy, but that was one of those games where it was Mount Sac's game, Mount Sac's year. Of course, I thought Cypress was going to be there at the end, but that's another story. And before we're going to go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to let you finish your story. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I thought Cypress had the basketball on the women's side. I thought they were going to be in the final game. Just that college basketball feel that you felt that they were going to be there, Coach B.
Up to bat, number 12.
Larice Magdaleno is now coming up. Brad trying to find something. Sort of like when you call me up and say, what should I have for dinner? And I make about 8 suggestions and you finally go back to the old one. Brad's doing the same thing, looking for offense. Magdaleno comes up. Takes that for a ball.
And they're sticking with Sanchez, who has 7 complete games this season. And as Brad is looking for something, they're very patient at the plate.
1-1.
And you wonder if that patience might get them into trouble in this situation, or do you try to be aggressive and make something happen?
Oh, I tell you what, if it's close, I'm swinging. Fouled away.
OEC scoreboard. It is Fullerton is trailing Golden West now. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Golden West Rustlers 4. The Hornets 0. Riverside and Mount San Jacinto 7-5 in favor of Riverside in the 5th.
Magdaleno wants to be a sports reporter, Mark.
That one's high and away.
Santa Ana and Saddleback, bottom of the 5th inning now, and it's still tied up at 3 apiece. That game is at Saddleback.
I think she's one of the broadcasters along with the PA who does the sports reports for Cypress.
2-2's the count. Off the plate, 3-2, working it full.
Moore Park trying to solidify their entry into the regionals. They lead Ventura 2-0, bottom of the 3rd inning.
4-2, bottom of 5. Cypress looking for something to cheer about. Down and away, she works a walk.
Cuesta College knows they have to win out or they get to sit for the regionals. They lead Santa Barbara by a score of 5-2, and if you look at that conference, Santa Barbara would not qualify for the playoffs because they have not played enough games.
But they played 9 games this year?
No, they didn't play any pre-conference games. They're playing all their conference games, so they'd be short. San Joaquin Delta 4 and Sierra nothing. This year, Sierra probably doesn't get to go to the regionals.
Well, Brad had a pinch hitter up for Hill. Then the walk happened, and then Brad kept the pinch hitter up in the, Hill's coming up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Another big
No,
game.
he had another pinch hitter.
Okay.
So if you look over here, Castillo was going to come up and pinch hit next. Then because of the walk, sorry, Ed, Brad switched things around, which I'm a little surprised at. Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I said another big game for a team that hasn't been to the playoffs but wants to get in. That would be Hartnell, and they are playing San Jose. San Jose having another excellent season, one of the best teams in the North, and it's 0-0, bottom of the 2nd inning. That game is at San Jose Junior College.
So Hill will come up with a runner at first. Look for the bunt. Gotta lay a pretty one. Right there. Gets through the wickets. Air.
E5.
And E5.
And Morales was so keen and so sure she was going to second base on that play because she wanted to come up quick and knew she was going to get Magdalena. She rushed it and tried to get the ball out before she catches it, and both runners are safe.
Well, if you saw her, Corey, she lifted her head when the ball was bunted in her direction. You were talking about her trying to get out because she wanted to see where the runner was.
Well, she was going to second all the way. She lifted her head looking back at second base because she was ready to throw. And what happens is a team that leads the conference in fielding percentage has 2 errors this ball game with no outs and 2 speedsters on the base path. Mark, so much for going out and hitting away. You got a walk and a nice sacrifice.
That's
it turns into a on base.
Giselle comes up the plate. Talked to her dad. When she was over at Centennial, one of the better home run hitters. He said she's a streaky hitter. This is from Dad. If she's hot, she can hit it. On the edge for a strike.
In her limited time, she's got 4 hits and 3 RBI.
Can't get doubled up if you're a runner. Off the plate. And the plate's moving just a little for Orange Coast College. Four runs, 9 hits for Orange Coast, 2 runs, 3 hits for your Chargers. Called strike.
Good drop ball.
2-2.
And you see the drop. Well, us and fans are looking at that. We see a low pitch. Umpire sees it come right across the knees and simply drop. Good looking pitch by Sanchez.
2-2 count. Driven up the alley. Brad says go, 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 go. They're not going to get the runner at home on a solid base hit. Up the middle, Corey Nalen.
You see what happens when you cut the ball off? Magdaleno halted a little bit at third base. As you see the replay here. In center field, Hernandez bobbled the ball and came up throwing and still had a chance to get Magdaleno because of her stutter at third base, as you saw on the replay there. But again, they cut it off. And it's now 4-3.
Well, Ed had the, I tell you what, Ed, if you look at Brad had the runner going the entire way. He wasn't going to stop anybody. He was going to make them make a play at home plate.
Oh, yeah, he had her going, and Magdaleno just awkwardly came around third.
4-3, 3 runs, 5 hits now for the Chargers.
And that aggression is one of the things Brad has built a 30-plus year career on being the best in the state of making the other team make a play. Make them be perfect. And on 2 plays, they haven't been perfect.
Exactly, Corey. And you look at what happens out here. Orange Coast and not on paper really, but they have proven they can hit the long ball. But Cypress, you really just have to prove you can beat Brad and the Chargers. And you can't make mistakes and have errors because the Chargers will come back and take advantage of that. And that's what's happening here.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in the captaincy. I mean, you got Kyle coming in. You going to let her swing away, or are you going to move the runner?
I'm letting her do whatever she wants.
Okay.
I definitely drop one down here.
I'd be the dissenter. I'd let her swing away.
She offers. Takes a strike.
Because you know she is, but I just want to see another triple.
So Morales comes down from third. Tuipala will break from first. Then you wheel Koshi to second. No outs. She does. She puts it in the gap. Brad says, run, baby, run. We're tied at 4.
Well, it ain't a triple, but it's an RBI single.
And we're all tied up again. And Brad had the runner coming no matter what.
You know what Brad looks like at a third base? Broken clock hand that just won't stop turning. So Moda's hitting her second home run of the season?
She might. See if Brad starts his runner off the plate.
Come on, Danny.
For a strike.
And that's been consistent, though.
Yeah, he's been calling that all day. 1-1 to Modas. Second and third. 1 out for your Chargers. Off the plate, ball 2. On deck, Parmenter. Kyle says, hit it to right. She just told Modas, hit it to right. And that's where Modas hits it, Corey. Off the glove in center. 1 run in. As we get an error in center field.
You're so mean, Mark.
Oh, Corey. and
I know it
again,
was an
that
error.
glove.
I know. And the second error of the inning.
What we talked about earlier, you can't give Cypress extra chances. Just like Cypress can't give Orange Coast second chances. And Orange Coast is just, they've got a little lapse going here.
Yeah. 2 errors this inning, 3 for the game. The best fielding percentage in the conference, one of the best in the state. Important game. Now, is it a more important game for Orange Coast or more important game for Cypress? I think both of you, Ed and Mark, were talking about it.
I'm going to vote for Cypress. And again, I know Ed was talking about there's more games to play, but Corey, you've got to even yourself up in the loss column. Then if there's 3 games left and you're even in the loss column, you can always make up those wins. If you're down by 2 games in the loss column, you're not going to make up those wins unless you beat and they lose on that day. So I think it's huge for Cypress in this game. Plus, hey, if you're Orange Coast, Ed, if you're Orange Coast and you win this game, now you feel like you are the team in the OEC. Until you can beat Cypress and take it away from them, Cypress feels that way. Fullerton felt like it was their year last year, which it was. And we'll see if Orange Coast can do that this year.
So Sanchez goes 4, struck out 4, walked 1. And she's given up those runs again. 2 of the 3 runs on errors this inning. And Kelsey McNair, she adjourns to the circle, her 11th appearance. She's 3-0. 6 saves this season, 21 innings pitched. She's pitched 20 times. Leads the team in strikeouts with 35 and walked 11.
Runners at second and third. No outs. Ball goes, gets away, and we get another one because look who was standing at third base. Pass ball by the catcher allows that one to come in.
And Modis to third.
So Corey Nayland's, we'll talk about at the end of this inning, high and tight. The defense, the shine on the defense has come off for Orange Coast in this first game of 3.
One thing to remember though, in conference play, this is the last conference series for Orange Coast, this game and 2 more. Cypress has 2 more against OCC and then 3 against Golden West. So the amount of games in conference will even out.
But if I can beat OCC 3 times in a row, I'm going to have them down 2 losses.
Oh yeah.
McNair walks Parmenter.
Up to bat, number 6, Michaela Galavia.
McNair against Riverside. She had 1 save in the circle, striking out 4 in their 6-3 win in that 3rd game of that series last week.
It's the runner.
Go big. What to keep in front of you?
So bases are loaded. Maldonado comes up. And Corey, it's been a while for you and I to sit here and watch a Cypress game against a quality team and do what they're doing in this inning. Didn't see it against El Camino.
No.
Didn't see it against Palomar.
As Albert mentioned, still no outs. Maldonado's due.
Bases loaded. 6-4. Cypress. Swings and misses.
And you see the alacrity she has in the circle from McNair. I mean, she's throwing smoke.
All done with one single down in the dirt. And that was Kyle's single.
No, Del Castillo had a single as well.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Number taken there. So a pop back. No infield fly
That's a
rule
bat,
call
number 4,
by
Tina
anybody
Payne.
on that. Should have been. Albert Disman, no, it's a pop-up. It's still an infield fly rule. Yeah. Anytime you can deceive on that play, they're going to call it.
Bill Russell, Bill Russell, Bill Russell.
Dodgers used to complain about the Astros cheating.
78 World
70.
Series?
78.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a Dodger you bring up about cheating. Huge at bat for Tina Payne. Corey, you really want, even if it's a fly ball, to the outfield and get one more run. You're only up by 2. High and tight. 2-2.
Absolutely, Mark. You want to make it a productive at bat. You want to get one more run. And it also puts even more pressure on Orange Coast. They are starting to think we can't stop these people.
Flare shot. Impala gets that one and says, Mr. Pavlovich, this is easy. Corey,
That's a bat,
two
number 12,
distinct
Claire
different
Marcolais.
deliveries. I mean, how much does that throw off the
It throws you off so much because Sanchez is more crafty. She can throw a sneak a fastball by you, but she is crafty and she hits her quadrants. McNair says, try to hit it.
down the middle?
I mean, there's no, mystification that she's trying to throw out to you. It's just try to hit this.
And it's worked.
Swing through that one. That was in the catcher's glove, then the swing happened.
I mean, if you have bases loaded and no outs and you get the first 2 batters to hit these little nubber fly balls that the infield gets, you're doing something.
Strike 3. So it looked like Cypress was going to break it open, but you know what? You bring in a reliever for the right reason, and they stop the bleeding. But not before 4 big runs come in on a couple hits, a few misplays, and a stumble by Orange Coast College. We hit the top of 6. Well, now it's Cypress up 6-4 over Orange Coast College here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
Can I just
Chargers Live?
Sorry, can I just say I love softball?
You can.
I love softball. And speaking of loving softball a little bit too much, we promised Jody and Orange Coast we were going to talk about this. We went down a rabbit hole a little bit. And I was thinking, somebody brought up the name of, I forgot what broadcast you guys were doing. This is a few weeks ago. And I forgot what name you guys mentioned. But I got a chance to start watching Adelaide, Australia softball.
Yeah, you got no life, do you?
I've got no life. Up at 3 o'clock in the morning watching a live game. The Seacombe Tigers are playing the Glenelg Rebels in the ASA Premier Softball League. You know that league, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorites.
Joanna. And it brought me to Michelle Carew Classic because Joanna Grauer was one of the MVPs in the 2019-2020 season, and you know Joanna well.
Yes, Northern California. Multicolored tie-dye jerseys.
Exactly.
Amador Valley.
And I can't believe the Michelle Carew Classic. That was 2014 that we were doing that.
You've gotten old since then.
We have.
Ed Ford looks the same.
Only if you put a bag over your head. Top of the 7th inning, Santa Ana Saddleback is still all tied up at 3 apiece. Riverside ahead of Mount San Jacinto 7-5. That's in the top of the 7th. And Fullerton Golden West, top of the 5th. Golden West leads Fullerton 4-0.
Freda Esters comes up. And Corey, the other reason you love softball is, wait a minute, you got somebody from Sweden on this Orange Coast team. You've got somebody from Australia on this Orange Coast team.
And speaking of Sweden, you got to go watch Swedish softball, guys, in those countries. They were playing in a junior high school gym. And it was very, very weird, but they were playing. It was at a weird angle, and it was phenomenal.
So it was like a 3C, 2A broadcast? Is that what you're telling me? It was a weird angle with one camera?
They had one camera, but they were playing. I was confused. It had all the lines on the floor. It looked like a cross between a volleyball, basketball court, and a checkers match.
Oh, okay, it was. Okay. Tap foul.
But a couple of those players playing in the NCAA right now.
And, of course, I brought up, and you need to mention it, too, because I brought up Australia, too.
Yeah, you brought up an Australia because of Millie Fidge, Ruby Fidge, who's a pitcher for Orange Coast. Her older sister is a current Hawaii player playing with Macy Brandel, who went to Fullerton last year out of the OEC.
Slap shot. Galaviz got it over to first in time. And that's why I like softball, because you can get people from anywhere that will play this game. That's not necessarily true with all the other sports because they're not offered, but this is a universal sport, the game of softball.
Exactly. And those players from Australia, got a couple more. San Jose State, Taylor Chillingsworth. I just like that because her name, great name. Katie Sutherland Finch, played at Cal in 2017. She plays in Australia, out of Oregon. Well, she's from Oregon, played at Cal, now in Australia.
Koshi comes up, struck out, and then grounded back to second. Chargers up by 2 here in the 6th. Taken back up the middle, and Orange Coast is not going away.
Again, only a 2-run deficit.
So once again, an answer. Offered no call. Squared to bunt. Bat was not brought back. I've seen so much of that this year, where home plate umpires do not call that as an attempt. Shoveled to left field, foul.
Drives a singled into third.
Blowing away. 2-1. Tucker looks like she's going, then her team brings her back. Looks like she's done, then her team brings her back. Popped foul enough to go out of play.
And that's why you can never say the Cypress won't be there at the end, whatever state championships there are.
4 runs, 10 hits, 3 undescribable errors by Orange Coast College. 6 runs, 5 hits for your Cypress Chargers. number down there. Winya stumbles. They got 2 on. And here they come back. And this is where you got to love the OEC. You've got to love the teams like Brad Pickler. You've got to love the teams like Orange Coast. You've got to love the teams like Cerritos in the SCC, Long Beach City. You don't know who's going to win or lose until the game comes to that fatal end.
So McNair trying to do damage at the plate. RBI single her last time at bat.
Lopez is in the right place at the right time for that one for out number 2. Hit well, but just an out. 2 down, 2 on, trailing by 2 here in the 6th.
And in that bottom half of the 5th, Morales is one of the players that made the error, trying to make a play before she had that ball. And is she going to go a cliche right here and atone for that error?
Look at the gap in right center. Let's see what she can do. She hits it deep to center, and the young woman who plays center field or the outfield better than anybody in the OEC pulls it in for out number 3. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a couple left on base. We head to bottom of 6. It's Cypress 6, Orange Coast 4 on Sportsnet, USA.net.
Want to keep going down the rabbit hole, or you got more scores, Ed?
Well, I was going to say on that hit, though, the wind had shifted and the wind was blowing straight in, so she wasn't going to hit it over anybody's head. I don't think our scoreboard has changed very much. It's still Fullerton losing to Golden West College, and now that game is in the, I like it when mouse moves really fast. That's in the bottom of the 5th inning. We must have a final with, nope, Santa Ana and Saddleback still 3-3. Bottom of the 7th, that game is at Saddleback, so maybe the Bobcats can perform some magic at the end. Riverside now leads Mount San Jacinto by a score of 8-5. It might be all over for Taft and their chance to get into the playoffs. They lose to Sequoias by a score of 4-3, despite 3 errors by Sequoias. Ventura leading Moore Park 3-2.
Number 1.
And our final score of something that means something. Santa Barbara getting crushed by Cuesta. Cuesta needs to win out to get into the playoffs. That's 11-3, top of the 5th. And LA Mission loses to Citrus. So Mission is pretty much done.
Hill comes up to the plate.
And they've really taken a fall from the last 2 years, 3 years. Because they made the playoffs the last, was it 3 years?
Yeah,
2 years at least.
2 years ago.
Well, no, they were there last year because Cerritos had to play at Mission.
That's right.
Because Cerritos was the 9th seed last year.
1-1 to Hill. Drops it down in front, flip over to first base. Nice play. Tell you what, Jasmine Morales all over the ball makes a strong throw to get Hill for the out.
And that's why it's so inexplicable, her error last inning. As smooth as she made that play on an excellent drop by Hill, last inning was head scratcher.
Nair whips it for a strike. Lopez looks at it. Don't forget, Ed brought up the Bobcats in softball. We got a little Bobcat baseball Thursday. Noah Alvarez, Albert Robles handling the call on that down at Saddleback College.
Yeah, the Bobcats looking like they're going to the playoffs. Not the best record this year, but still ranked 10th.
Jazzy swings
Up to
through
bat,
that.
number 7, Dan Kyle.
So it would seem that Bobcats should host in the first round of the playoffs because it's 24 teams, and I would assume if it's 24 and you divide that in half, then the top 12 teams host.
Baseball.
For baseball.
Oh, okay, okay. Then they just slaps to the left, and that's an easy out for Vargas in left field. Well, we come down to maybe the last act in this play of softball today here on Chargers Live and sports@usa.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Nealon, and myself. Guys, it's been a fun softball game when you watched it today. And Ed, I haven't had the chance to get you and ask you this because you usually tell me right now who's the hot dog up in Northern California for the game of softball.
Well, I think that would be a plural of hot dogs. Would be West Valley and San Mateo. They're trading 1 and 2 in the RPI. Both teams are outstanding. Both teams have experience in the playoffs, and we know San Mateo will be in the state championship without a doubt. San Jose is another team that conference is just stacked with West Valley, San Jose, and San Mateo, the 3 best teams in the north, and they're all there in that conference. And that conference has kind of surpassed the Big 8 now. The Big 8 is not as strong as.
Well, they took out. Oh, no, because which conference did they take away for softball?
They took away, it was the Golden Bay or something like that, the one that Solano used to play in because not enough teams could field teams. And also in that conference is Hartnell. You could have those 4 teams making it in.
Actually, there's going to be 5 from that conference making it in. Monterey Peninsula is going to get in.
Well, yeah. Well, they're over 500 this time, so they deserve to get in.
Kamori Tuapala comes up for Orange Coast. Hits that foul.
None of that 3 and 11 nonsense in conference and getting into the playoffs.
We'll be back here Friday for a little Orange Coast softball. Just off the plate. Gina Payne says just an inch, or a little bit more sugar, one of the two. Tucker tried to get that a little too much oomph. Ball gets away from her.
Tuapala had that flinch also.
Yeah, so as Corey mentioned, you would get 5 teams out of the Coast Conference that make it into the regionals. West Valley with best record, 10-1 in conference, 33-2 overall. San Mateo 32-3 overall. San Jose 30-4 overall. Then Hartnell 20-14, and Monterey Peninsula is at 16-15. So all those teams should get in. Because there's only 4 conferences up there too. So you put in the top 2. Plenty of room.
Tuapala puts a little spank into it, and it goes all the way to the wall. She hits a second. She's there. Oh, she done hit that baby.
Let's see that one more time.
And Lopez was drifting on it, and it caught a gust a little bit, and she couldn't graze up and make that catch.
So I'm giving her a double.
It is a double.
Brooke Whiteman now is over at second base as the pinch runner.
But again, that
Up to
gust of
bat,
wind
number
just took it
31,
just a little
Izzy
bit over
Lopez.
her glove.
12 hits today right now for Orange Coast College.
And in the last 2 games, Cypress has been doubled up on hits. El Camino put up 15. Cypress had 5, I believe, on Saturday. Today they have 5, and Orange Coast 12.
Over the top of our head.
How many did they have on Saturday? 5
Yeah.
against 15? Isn't that tripled up?
That's tripled up, but yeah, well, they're doubled up here.
Oh, okay.
Modus gets under that one for out number 1. Hey guys, don't say double and triple around Albert because he'll be looking for a burger. So, you know,
Up to
so
bat,
let's
number
not do
5,
that.
Caleb Vargas.
Be disappointed at the end of the game when there's nothing.
I don't know. Does anybody make a triple burger anymore?
Stay hot,
In and
kid.
out?
Stay hot.
In and out.
Actually,
see?
there's a couple places.
Okay. And it's real meat, right?
I did it out at least.
I don't think anyone ever in this world has ordered a triple veggie burger. And if they did,
Oh, I don't know. There used to be a place in Fullerton that had great veggie burgers, and
yeah, but not a triple.
well, if you ask for it, they probably give it to you. I don't know.
Vargas comes up, pops it foul. Goes over the net. Baseball is not playing today, so nobody can go run and get it.
And the Cypress baseball team, might as well mention them. They are doing exceptionally well once again this year.
Good eye, kid.
I think they average like 37 runs a game.
Yeah, they're they're inside the top, well inside the top 10, inside the top 5, I believe. Aren't they ranked 3rd or 2nd?
Yes.
2-1 count. 3-1 count.
Chargers have 1 out here, and all they need to do is play some solid defense. Their pitcher can, Haley can handle things.
3-1. Fouled away. 3-2.
You're on it, kid.
She doesn't need to strike people out, just let them hit it and the defense take care of things.
On deck, Hernandez for the Pirates.
Top, get all of it.
3-2 count. Runner at second. Up by 2. Foul ball. Ooh, a little spark in that one. Match game city. Let's see if she can do it again.
Corey, outside, low. Is that where you pitch her on this one?
Yeah, I can't go anywhere near her. 'Cause if it's inside, she's going to pull it.
Turning on everything.
3-2. Galaviz right there over to first for out number 2.
Hey,
Well,
nice
got the
shot
low
back,
nappy
kid.
away.
And you know she came inside.
Hey,
But that pitch was a drop pitch that dropped just enough. Actually, it didn't drop just enough because he came on top of it and pounded it into Galaviz's glove.
2 down. Top of the 7th. Up by 2 for Cypress. Need an out, and they win the first one.
Quick OEC score for you. Saddleback comes back
Right here. Let's go.
in the bottom of the 7th, scores a run, beats Santa Ana 4-3.
Good eye.
Down and away for a ball.
Golden West now leads Fullerton College by a score of 5-0. That's
One
in
right
the
here, Jay. Let's
6th
go.
inning.
One count. on the corner for a strike.
What to do?
1 and 2.
What to do?
Tucker wants to close the door on this one. Put the cover on the jelly and say, let's go home. Off the plate, just a little short.
And like Ed said, you don't have to worry about Haley Tucker. Remember when everybody was nervous when Orange Coast was hitting all them runs and getting that 4-2 lead?
Find it,
Haley
kid.
Tucker
Let's
just sat inside.
go. Find it, Jay. Let's go.
2-2 count. Tucker from the circle. Flared foul. Blue going over to get the supply of softball. 6 runs, 5 hits for your Chargers. 4 runs, 12 hits. 3 magnified errors by Orange Coast College.
Right here, Jay. Feel it.
2-2 count. Corey Nayland's packing his bags. Saying she gonna do it on this one.
There you go, Jay.
Into the hole. Hold the runner. Tying run goes to second. Some people could be premature.
Nobody said game is over.
Up to bat, number 13, Maya Rodriguez.
Albert Robles and I looking at our table. Tying run at second. High for a ball. Maya Rodriguez out of Fullerton High School. Local talent that traveled down the street. Ball 2.
Stay ready.
This is the one Haley doesn't want to lose. As we said, she came in batting 137. Is Maya. And she's grounded out 2 times. Well, actually a sacrifice, but 2 ground outs.
Ball 3 in the dirt. Run scores. Tying run at third.
Well, if she has to sacrifice fly, but the 2 ground outs and come into the game batting 156, you have to go right at her.
Because you know
And
she's
if she
not-
beats you with her bat, then she beats you with her bat. But don't get too fancy. Just go after her.
We'll see you in the playoffs. It's going to be
3-0 count. High strike call. 3-1.
Let's go, kid. Find it. Battle. Feel good right here.
Base hit ties the game. Air ties
Feel
the
good right
game.
here. On top of it.
Three and 1. Ball 4.
Woo! Let's go back. Let's go, coach.
Jody calls timeout. Brad Pickler wants to talk. Jody wants to talk. So it's conversation as Koshi, who had a singular last time up, comes up to the plate here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't forget Thursday, baseball here on SportsNetUSA.net. And then Friday, we repeat this. We'll be back at Cypress College for another softball game with Orange Coast College here on SportsNetUSA.net and Chargers Live.
Bottom of the 6th inning, Golden West 5, Fullerton nothing. Ventura 5-4 over Moore Park. That's in the bottom of the 5th. Also, Riverside 10-8 with Mount San Jacinto. So kind of a run scoring fest there. And what was our other? We had the final with Saddleback beating Santa Ana 4-3. So that's what's going on in the OEC and elsewhere in 3C 2A softball.
Koshi gets ready to come up. Had a single in the 6th to right center. So you watch our mentor move towards the gap. Now she moves away from it. Corey infield's in with 2 out. Brad in at third, brings him in at third. Koshi shows bunt, doesn't hit it. Would you play him halfway right about now?
Let's put it this way. If it was Cypress up with 2 outs and a runner on third base,
you bring him in.
Thing, putting that same vibe out there. Bring your players in. Make sure that bunt doesn't beat you.
High and away.
Nice salute, kid. Have fun. Here we go. Find it. Feel good. Feel good. Find it.
1-1 count. Strike 2 call. Consistently same spot all day. You may not like the spot, but hey, if that's what he's going to call for both pitchers all day long, then you need to know it. 1-2. I go back there if I'm Tucker.
Where the battle, kid? Where the battle?
Tries to jam her on the inside corner.
And a nice one-handed catch
Good. Let's go.
by a member of the audience, so to speak.
Pretty nifty out there. Agile.
One and 2. Ryder Lamotas picks it up, flings it, dug out at first base.
Damn good game.
And your Cypress Chargers walk away with an exciting victory over Orange Coast College. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Cypress. 5 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors for Orange Coast College. As the Chargers walk away with a big victory. For Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Nealon, your Chargers walk away and get a little bit closer to first place here on Chargers Live and SportsNetUSA.net.
I